10 years from now and some students are in there, filling out theirs, then you'll get a letter like that. Okay? That would be great. So anyway, you're going to get 30 points for writing a letter. You can start thinking about it now. We're actually going to talk about it in class as we go along in the term some more. This is how many classes, how many people have taken at least 5 classes? Okay, how about 10 classes? How about more than 10 classes? Of the classes you've taken so far, how many of the classes did you leave feeling as if you were really a better person? Now, not that you didn't know more, but that you were a better person for having taken the class. How many can say that? Okay, that's great. I know I have to say from the 60-something classes, or I don't know how many classes I took over my years, I probably would have 5 classes I remember where I actually left feeling like I was a better person for having done it. So what we've decided is we don't want to we want to have you start now working on personal growth plans. Because if you're going to be an educator, you're going to spend your entire career doing personal and professional growth plans. So we want to start you out right now. And how many of you did New Year's resolutions? How many of you said, yeah, I'm going to make a New Year's resolution? How many of you have done it before and never quite met any of them? Be honest. Okay, all right, most of us raise our hand on that one. There's lots of good reasons for that, but we're going to give you the skills on how you can do it. What we're going to ask you to do during the course of this 16 weeks of the term is to pick something that will make you a better person. Okay? And I'll give you some examples. As a matter of fact, one day we're going to talk about lots of examples. But we want you to pick something that's going to make you a better person, and then we want you to practice it over the course of this semester. And hopefully you'll find that it works, because if you pick relatively small things and you do it for 15 weeks, good evidence says you can actually make the change. And then hopefully you'll get in the habit of every semester you pick another project to do. I have taught now almost 30 years. And each semester I pick a project, and we're going to do the same. You're going to tell us what your personal improvement project is, and we're going to tell you what ours is this term. And so we'll share. And I've done this every semester for 30 years, and the way I figure it, 2 more semesters I'll be perfect. Okay, because I've now done this about 90 times. Pick things. But here's some ideas, that people have chosen in the past that work pretty well. Many people, especially after a holiday, they want to reduce their body mass index. Some people would say, I need more exercise. That's my new plan is exercise. And so you're going to walk more, you're going to ride your bike, you're going to do other things. A good one for teachers is to dematerialize. Now that doesn't mean disappear, but it means focusing more on people and less on things. And so that you build relationships, because ultimately teaching is the building of learning relationships. So if you can make yourself focus more on building relationships in people and less on material things, you're making progress. Okay? Quit drinking Coke. Coke is worth 15 pounds a year. Just tell you, that's what the research says. If you decided you want to do something with weight, and if you didn't drink, and by the way, it's the same whether it's diet or whether it's sugar Coke. It's exactly the same, 15 pounds. We don't know why. So if you want to do one thing, you could eliminate that and just go to water. Exercise every morning. Think positively. Those are just some ideas. We'll give you a whole lot more when we get into next week and help you work it out. There's actually a form you fill out at the beginning on how you're going to do this, and then there's a form you fill out at the end where you tell us how well you did, and you either get points or don't, depending upon how successful you were. Okay, observations.
Okay, these are, you're going to do 4 school observations. We are going to ask you to set up observations at schools. Now, we are not going to tell you what school to go to. You choose a school of your preference. You need to observe at an elementary, a middle, a high school, and then arrange a special education observation. Now, you need to go where you are comfortable and you can get into a school. We will put a letter on Blackboard that will help you get into the school that says why you're doing it. So there will be a letter for you that has our name on it that explains to the school looking at, is this the grade level that you want to be at? Do you want to teach elementary school? Do you want to teach middle school? Do you want to teach high school? That's the point of the observations, is for you to see more about what, is teaching really for you? Is that what you really want to do? And so you need to do that. Those are required. You will need to complete 2 before spring break and 2 before the end of the semester. And those are all arranged on your own. If you have difficulty, we can help you get into schools, but it could be your own high school, your own elementary school. It could be private schools. It can be public school, but it can be Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, but you need to make those arrangements on your own. Okay?
And we have a form that you'll fill out. You'll see it on Blackboard. For each observation that you do, there's a form. It has questions on it.
It's a 1-page form. That's a 1-page. You fill it out. You can scan it and attach it, or you can type it into a Word document and attach it to Blackboard. So it's a very simple and easy form for you to do. We've made it as very simple. We just want to know, what do you see when you go into the classroom? Any questions about that? We'll talk about it in a little more detail in a couple of weeks. I think next week, actually. Yes, ma'am?
For the special education, you do a certain grade level or it doesn't?
It doesn't matter. For the special education, it doesn't matter. And it also could be that you could do double duty with the special education. It might be that you see a collaborative classroom where that you go in and you're observing where a special education teacher is in the classroom at the same time as with another teacher, and so you can do a double duty. But in that situation, you have to do 2 write-ups. You have to write up what you saw the special education teacher is doing, and then what the general education teacher is doing. So that's what you have to do. I saw another hand. Yes?
I was going to say, because she is not some things you observe in
An occupational therapist in a school setting, I think that would count. Yes. I did see another hand, yes.
Does it have to be 4 different schools, or maybe at 2?
It can be at 2 different schools. Are you talking like in a private school that's like a K-8 situation? Yes. No, that would be fine as long as you delineate the grade levels. Yes.
I would suggest you try to try to give yourself some experiences that are different. And so pick a school that you'd like to see, pick a place you've not been to, pick something that's a little different so that you can kind of see what it looks like. And maybe even pick a place where you think you might want to end up teaching someday. If you haven't been there, but you'd like to be in a certain district, see if you can line that up. It's always good to start meeting people, even from this very first class. And by the way, when you go to the schools, what you make sure is that you introduce yourself to everybody. You make sure the principal, if the principal's available, you introduce yourself. Introduce yourself to the people who really run the school. Those are the secretaries that sit right there at the desk. When you first come in, make sure you say, "Hey, I'm Jimmy Smith, and I'm here to observe, and I'm going to be a teacher someday." And always be upbeat and positive when you go there. Because you just never know the connections you're making.
Exactly. I saw one more hand. Yes, ma'am.
We observe the subject that we're using.
Certainly. Most definitely. See if that's really the subject that you want to observe. I saw one more. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes. You could do that at public preschool. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Moving on.
We're going in this class, toward the middle of the class, we will actually have the advisors come in that will help you lay out the rest of your 4-year program, and then you will go to an individual assignment to get a 4-year program, and then you'll scan that and send it in so that you would know what you need to do in what order if you were going to go ahead and proceed through our program. Final exam. We have a final exam in here. It's an online, it's multiple choice. It's about everything you're going to hear about in this class and more. But we have this special deal for you. For anybody who ends up doing 50 points of extra credit, you still have to take the final exam because we want to know what you learned or didn't learn so we can adjust our instruction. This is called, it's called feedback and assessment. But if you do 50 points of extra credit, we'll give you some examples of what that is. You'll get an automatic 100 on the final exam. Not a bad deal. This is actually called the PREMAC principle. What we want to do is, if we give you experiences for extra credit that help you learn more about what we want you to learn, you've met the objective of the course. And that's something you want to do as a teacher. When I was teaching science for my students who were very good and they completed all their work, what I would do is give them a chance to do more science. I'd have them do an extra credit science sheet or an extra credit project. And so they got to do more science that way. You do the same thing if you're going to be a PE teacher, if you're going to be whatever, elementary reading. If I want to reinforce somebody and you're a reading teacher, let them read extra, free reading time. I mean, all kinds of great ways. We're going to do that in here too. Okay, what else? Extra credit. We will list some, if you want to read, if you're reading any books about teachers, we have lists that we can supply about really good books on teachers. And you can read some of those and you get extra credit for them. And we have the number of points you get on the syllabus for each of the different activities. We have lots of teacher movies. Actually, we're going to use some movie clips in here, quite a few of them, of really good movies about different ways teachers are involved in many different situations. And if you want to see the rest of the movies, you can use those and you can get movie credit. What I recommend is we have a whole list of really great movies, and get some friends together, get some popcorn and some iced tea. You're going to be teachers, you know, I don't want to see Facebook, you know, no Facebook pictures of you sitting there holding the beer, you know, that's going to track you for the rest of your life. You can have a private life as a teacher, but in public, you're going to be held to a different standard. So get your popcorn and iced tea and go watch the movie together and have a good time. And then all you have to do is post on Blackboard the answer to a couple questions about the movies and you get your extra credit. We're not doing mentoring this term, but we'll do other things. There'll be all kinds of other opportunities. If you come up with ways to use technology to help us improve the class, we'll give you extra credit points for it. All right. Technology. All right, and these are the rules. It says cell phones, Palm Pilots, Blackberries, PDAs, iPads, iPods, iPhones, Droid phones. Use them all in here, okay? But not in the schools. When you're out in the schools, they have very strict rules. It's on silent or it's off. When you're observing even, you're not there texting. Again, you're setting, you have to appear to be interested. And you will be. I will tell you though, sometimes you're going to go into a classroom and it's not going to be the most interesting thing, but you still have to see what you can observe and you have to stay off Facebook and you have to stay off texting your friends while you're in those settings. Because again, impressions from the very beginning are important. Anything else about technology? No. Okay, communication.
We will communicate with you through Blackboard, so it's important that you check your NKU email and Blackboard on a regular basis. That's how we will communicate with you. That's how you will receive announcements. If you are emailing us, we ask that you use your NKU email account and not an account that comes to us from Gmail or AOL. We won't recognize it. Make sure in the subject line you also reference EDU104. There are 263 of you, and so we get a lot of emails. So we need to make sure that when you send an email to us, that we know what class. You are not my only class that I teach. You are not the only class that Dr. Wasisco teaches. So we want to make sure that when we respond to you, that we're responding to you correctly, or that when Jason responds to you, please do that. Also make sure that